Hey, howdy gamers. How we doing today, huh? So I know I'm late to the party, but this is kind of huge news for this channel and for the 7 other Penny mains out there. Penny is getting buffed, and it's significant. And I'm here to talk about what the influence of the balance change is going to be and what's happening. So the first up, the cyber web cluster now has a chance to crit. And if I'm reading that correctly, and if I'm understanding that correctly, that means that it's now going to be able to headshot. Right? And if that's the case, that is huge. That is so massively, right? So massive. I'm stumbling over my words because of this. Okay? Penny can't currently headshot. And currently, her primary fire does 30 damage with a radius that does 15 damage. It's a very small radius though. It's like half a meter or something. Hey, editing moment here. I might have gotten this wrong. This might only be a buff to the actual projectile damage itself and not the spell field damage on a crit. It might only do 30 damage on the projectile and then another instance of 15 for the spell field damage, as you can see. So it might only do 45 damage, but it's still significant, don't get me wrong. If this is able to crit, Penny is going to be able to deal 60 damage headshots with her primary fire, which, mind you, has infinite ammo, and even though it slows you down, that speed penalty is being reduced from 40% to 20%. So she is going to be moving faster while firing shots that have infinite ammo and can deal, again, if I'm reading this right, headshot damage of 60. Why this is massive is because Penny's kit currently revolves so much around her nest and her traps that she becomes very, very tunneled into a specific playstyle. And that playstyle is playing largely defensively, and it is playing waiting for the enemies to come to you. She plays the most like a spider of any of the spider heroes in the game. She is going to set up her webs and her nest, and you are going to approach her on her terms. And she's going to dictate the fight, and she's going to have spring things on you that you don't understand, that you don't know. But what this means is that she's limited in her offensive capabilities. Largely, she isn't picked on offense on Halo maps, right? And I'm guilty of that too. Often I will switch off of Penny on offense because characters like The Thing or Magneto or another healer or another DPS are going to be more valuable than a character who wants the enemy to come to them when the game mode dictates the opposite. But Penny does still work on offense. She has never not worked on offense. Sure, she might be less effective than when she is on defense, but she's never not worked on offense. And I've carried games as Penny playing on offense. This change means that her on the offensive side is going to be a lot more common and a lot more effective. Most of the time you use your primary fire as Penny when you have nothing else to do. When your nest is already set up, when you've got mine traps and your mines are on cooldown, when there's no immediate threats that you need to stun, and when you're in a good position that you don't need to reposition from, you're like, okay, once all of those 4 boxes are checked, I can now look at the main choke and start firing down, hopefully just chipping people away. She doesn't use her primary fire a whole lot, and if she does, it's just, yeah, sure, let's charge my ult. The fact that now it's going to be a viable option to be using her primary fire more regularly, and the fact that she's going to be able to use that reflexively to deal with divers a lot more proactively or reactively rather than proactively. She doesn't need to read where they're going to be and set up a mine trap. She can just shoot them a lot more effectively, twice as effectively in fact, if you're hitting your headshots. The other thing that's massive is that she's getting a base health increase from 650 to 750 HP. That's already massive, right? That is 100 HP that she can now use to her advantage. But if the bonus health isn't capped at 800, if the bonus health is capped at 150 bonus health granted, that means that when she is on her webs, she has an effective max health of 900 HP. That is more than Groot. Penny is going to be playing this next season more like a tank that is the shield rather than a tank that has a shield. And on defense, my prediction is that she is going to be absolutely nuts to try and break through, because she's already one of, if not the best defensive tank in the game, and she is just going to get a whole lot better. Anyway, thanks for sitting through this, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.